Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and expert in Warner Brothers Discovery. I've done more than 100 videos on Warner Brothers Discovery, all aspects of, and this is kind of some exciting news. Now, we have heard that there was going to be new Harry Potter movies. It seemed like, of course, they would do a reboot because you wouldn't take this cast that they are no longer kids anymore and, continue to do stories with them. They're looking to do a lot of movies at Warner Brothers Discovery. They're looking to leverage their franchises. David Zaslav said this publicly in their third quarter earnings call. He said specifically they want to focus on doing franchises, and he said, we want to do new Harry Potter movies, not Fantastic Beasts movies. They want to do Harry Potter movies. They want, obviously, a new Harry Potter. Great article, sourced from WDW Pro, who gets all sorts of cool leaks at thatparkplace.com. Giant Freaking Robot, another great site. And it looks like there's going to be a total reboot and a recast, which is the only thing that really kind of makes sense if you're going to do more Harry Potter movies. But let's get into this article. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. You guys are great. The channel is growing. I really appreciate you. Really. Harry Potter movies being rebooted? A new rumor has emerged from WDW Pro that indicates Harry Potter is set to be rebooted with an entirely new cast in place. And if you think about it as well, J.K. Rowling has been attacked by the Harry Potter cast, so they kind of couldn't really invest a lot more resources in the franchise and not be able to get a cast that respects the creator of the series. Now, obviously, there's their own politics and whatever else is going on. J.K. Rowling isn't changing. She's the author. She knows what Harry Potter is and what this whole series is all about. She needs to be on board with Warner Brothers Discovery. Zaslav said that. He said, listen, we're going to talk to JK. We want to do new Harry Potter movies. He's very open about what he wants to do, which is one of the great things about Zaslav. He's direct. However, you can't have a cast that's going to go in social media and through publicity resources and things like that and say bad things about the creator. They have to all be on the same page. There really is no way to take a multi-billion-dollar franchise like this and have a cast that doesn't respect the creator. Harry Potter has been a long and storied franchise that sits behind a magnanimous amount of fans, though the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movie series helped to broaden the wizarding world a bit more, it failed to live up to the expectations of the original franchise. Well, a new rumor has stated that the franchise is now going to be rebooted, which includes recasting of all kinds. You have to recast all of it, otherwise it makes no sense. Exclusive leak from WDW Pro. Follow them on Twitter. Warner Bros. Discovery is reportedly looking to reboot the Harry Potter film franchise, including recasting in the next 3 to 5 years. Again, though Zaslav has already said he wants to do new Harry Potter movies, you would think they have to kind of go back to the beginning. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Like, how many films are you really going to do? How much content is there really to adapt? And you want this for children as well. You want the whole wide audience. You also want to affect all kinds of merchandising. You want to be able to incorporate this into games. We also heard from Giant Freaking Robot and directly from TV executive Channing Youngerly that they plan to do a TV series. They're working on a TV series. And this is, again, one of the things that Zaslav talks about often. They have a tremendous entertainment machine at Warner Brothers Discovery. They have films. They have HBO Max television shows. They have a great games division. They have tremendous licensing. Of course, they have comics. They have a lot of resources. They're going to use them, and they want to use their franchises to leverage all of that, which of course makes great business sense. But it means, yeah, you got to recast these characters. Granted, Harry Potter fans have been begging for the mainline series to keep going, and many have pointed to continuing on with The Cursed Child. However, Daniel Radcliffe has showed no interest in carrying on as the boy who lived, and rightfully so. Radcliffe has found other things to do with his career, and, he wants to move on from the franchise. Good for him, because he's too old for this. Should Warner Brothers even want Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter? Or would you just get young people, reboot the damn thing, and you've got 10 years at least worth of great films to do? Harry Potter is full of plenty of lore, and that can be explored in different ways. Take Hogwarts Legacy, for example. The new video game is going to be exploring an older age of the Harry Potter franchise. The game will cover the Victorian era and take place hundreds of years before the events of Harry Potter take place. A rebooted Harry Potter movie could do just that, or simply tell the original story in a much different way with much different cast. The above rumor seems to indicate that the latter is going to happen, much to the dismay of many adoring fans of Radcliffe and the other spectacular actors that have come and gone from the franchise. This would really be a risk to go with this existing cast. There are plenty of people of all ages that are interested in Harry Potter, but if you want a viable franchise that's going to be like a major franchise, kids have to be interested. To me, the cast is just too old. We are not sure how this newly rebooted franchise might look, but going with a recast could spell through this glorious franchise. To be fair, despite the Harry Potter movies being as good as they are, there are always those that say the books were far better. This newly rebooted plan could involve telling a much more factual story by staying as close to the source material as possible. Again, we know that the movies are heralded as untouchable, so we'll imagine that people are going to be plenty upset about a full reboot. Sure, but not as upset as they are at J.K. Rowling in the first place for not agreeing with their politics. Harry Potter is a phenomenon though, so it should stand to reason that anybody could take on the titular role. It would be interesting if this new reboot would go in a much darker way, making the deaths of Harry's parents turn him more into an ambitious wizard who wants nothing more than to kill Voldemort. But they're not going to make it dark. This is what happens at Warner Bros. Discovery. Zaslav sits with his team and he says he does this. Where are we on the House of the Dragon franchise? Where are we on Game of Thrones? What are we doing on DCU? Why hasn't there been a Superman movie for 13 years? Even though that isn't accurate, it may just be a way he likes to exaggerate in conversation. Why aren't we doing Harry Potter movies? We made a lot of money with Harry Potter movies. He says things like this, and his team are supposed to respond with, boss, you know what? That's a good thing you just brought up. Let's go get to work and do what you just told us to pay attention to. And it's sort of like is obvious and it works that way. So are they going to do a darker Harry Potter? No, that would be a risk. There's no way they're doing that. Hollywood is full of remakes and reboots, and it's honestly been long enough that a Harry Potter reboot doesn't sound as crazy as it should be. Warner Brothers knows what it is doing when it comes to pumping out a franchise for money, and people would likely still flock to the theaters to see this new rendition of the franchise. We will be far more interested once the casting announcements start to come out and we see who is going to take on the lead role from Daniel Radcliffe. I do put a lot of weight in this leak. I think it's very likely it's correct because they've publicly even said, Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery, has said, yes, I plan on and want to do new Harry Potter movies, knowing full well that Fantastic Beasts is part of it, but it's not what he means. He means real Harry Potter hardcore brand franchise. So Zaslav has said they want to do it. Zaslav has not said openly, oh, I want to do a reboot. But when they're looking at like, well, how do we do a series of films? How do we start with the youngest possible audience? And then you capture the older people as well. He wants more Spider-Man type franchises. That's what he's looking for. So that's why I'm expecting the DCU, well, we know James Gunn is going to skew young with his young Superman film, but things are going to skew younger in terms of casting in a lot of places because it just makes sense. You get people when they're young, you have the same actor playing the role for another 10 years, 15 years, whatever it's going to be, and then they've had their run. 10 years is plenty of time for any kind of series, film series, whatever the series is, to then go back to the beginning and start retelling the story. Keep in mind, too, when you're telling the story of characters need to change over time. And you have to really go and look and say, okay, well, how did the characters start out? Where do they wind up? They start out inexperienced. Then they go through different situations and they get more experience. They have tragedies. They have victories. They meet people. These relationships start up all over again. You really need to start the characters young physically, and you need to start them young in their character arc to be able to tell a lot of their story. Otherwise, what, to keep telling stories about Daniel Radcliffe until he's 75 years old. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Do you agree that they should completely reboot the cast? Probably find people that have no personal or ideological problems with J.K. Rowling. Please be sure you are also subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.